Welcome to the UBC Youth Circle, and today I just want to let everybody know that today's session is being recorded for educational purposes, and unfortunately if you're not okay with being recorded, we have no other option but to ask you to leave the room. We just need to make sure everybody is aware of that, because we use this as a learning tool and resource for the people who could not participate. In addition to that, I would like to ask where our participants are from that are on video conference. If you could just turn on your speaker up at PIB, you're on top of the screen, and let us know how many you have in your room.
We have about 5 of us in the room right now.
Thank you. If you could just mute it. Where were they from at the bottom again? Burnaby, if you could let us know how many is in the room.
13 people. 13.
13. Nice. Thank you both.
From which school? Alpha.
Did you get that? Great. Thank you. So online, we currently have people that are joining us from School District 50, School District 48, School District 6, School District 78, School District 28, School District 6, School District 41, and School District 57. There's probably more school districts in there currently. And what I would like to ask the Adobe Connect, those who are on computer, please send to me the name of your school district and the number of participants in your room. We really need to start capturing the data from those that are participating by classrooms. In addition to that, everybody's on mute, so that's good. And reminders to the Adobe Connect, those are the ones participating by the computer. Please ensure your speakers are turned on and you're able to hear us, and the volume is up, and that there are no other audio connections like the headphones attached to your speakers. In addition to that, we are unable to see all those participants by computer, and if you have a question, you are a designate, hopefully for each classroom, will have to type in the question, and I will relay those to Trevor. In addition to that, if there's anything that comes up, we have the kids help number. And now I will actually introduce our speaker. Our speaker today is Chilcotin from Williams Lake. Welcome, Trevor. He is a writer, a director, and a filmmaker, or as he calls himself, a storyteller. Trevor is currently attending Capilano University, the Motion Picture Arts program here in Vancouver, where he's pursuing his bachelor's degree. Trevor's Get Up, Move Up public service announcement recently won 5,000 first place at the First Nations Health Council Active Spirit, Active History video contest. In addition to that, I'm excited to say that Trevor actually participated in the Red Bull Crash Dice, which he will go further into during his presentation, talking about his education and his career choices, moving from the north here into the Vancouver area. So please welcome Trevor, and I will turn the table over to Trevor. And if there's any questions that you may have, just please put your hand up or send it via the link, and I will relay those questions if you're on video conference. Thank you, Trevor.
Thanks a lot. What's up, guys? There are a lot of people I'm speaking to. I wasn't prepared for this many people. Yeah, my name is Trevor Mack, and I am a proud Tsaifkotin from the interior, and I'm from the Anaheim Reserve. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's a small secluded reserve in the interior near Williams Lake, and I grew up there. I went to school there, and a lot of my, obviously, like on other reserves, a lot of my family, and cousins and friends are from there, and I don't know if you guys know about the history of the Chilcotin people, but we were involved in a confrontation called the Chilcotin War, which sounds pretty awesome, and it took place in 1864, and we had a confrontation with some road builders who were trying to build the next big road through our land, and we didn't really like that, so there was a big conflict, and 14 road builders were actually killed, and then our chief Cladacine and his son and other Chilcotin chiefs ended up being hanged afterwards for the big conflict, and then that's how the highway is not from Butte Inlet, and it's from going up the road. So we have a pretty infamous history, the Chilcotin people, and we've got it's pretty interesting, and and I'm proud to be part of the Chilcotin War, and that's just a little bit of history of my people and a little bit of insight of kind of who the Chilcotin people are. And I grew up on the Anaheim Reserve, and I ended up moving to Williams Lake, which is a small town, and I went to school. I went to 3 different schools. I lived in around 5 different places in Williams Lake and Anaheim altogether, and went to school, ended up going to high school, and high school is where I was really like an outcast in high school, and I ended up taking up video games. If you guys know Halo, the video game Halo, I'm sure you guys know the video game Halo. I was really into that, and that actually led me making videos of Halo videos, and I would capture myself, doing all these really cool, kills against other people online, and then what I would do was I would add music to that and make these montages, and that ended up, I found that really interesting, and I found that really, it got me that I could have my own voice out, even if it wasn't in high school, I could have a voice even if it was through the internet and like these random video game videos. And I ended up getting, over millions and millions of views on those little Halo videos, and I had a pretty big following and everything. And that turned it out to lead me to other interests like photography and everything. I wanted to see what I could do, like, with that artistic stuff going into photography. And what actually happened, the outcome of, making these video game videos was I was ended up being sponsored by like a really big company called SteelSeries, and they ended up giving me like I don't know, like $1,000 worth of like random computer gear, and they sent me to Dallas, Texas, where I worked with a team to record these guys playing video games. I don't know if you guys have heard of MLG. Maybe Major League Gaming, MLG. It's these guys get paid ridiculous amounts of money to play video games against each other, and they travel around America, and they're these like really big gaming celebrities and everything. And I was paid to just go around and record these guys playing video games, and it was pretty awesome. It was really cool because I got to meet some of my idols when I was like little. I had these, this guy Tom Taylor T-Squared. He's this video game champion. I wish I could meet him, and I ended up meeting him, and through going to this event, and that's what started my interest in like film and like recording and photography and everything. Was it started through like being like an outcast and playing these video games and realizing that like I was really good at something, and then that turned out we had an editing group called Viral Design, and they wanted to get me to get more content out there, and they told me to make a short film. And I hadn't really made a short film before, and by this time I was actually in my first year of university, and I was just getting into everything about university, and I ended up having an idea called The Blanketing, and it was actually a script I handed in to my script teacher, and I almost failed on the script, and that and that turned out, I made the short film later, which I'll get into, but it's kind of funny. And so they told me to make a short film, and I started with The Blanketing, and then it took me 10 months of pre-planning and everything to that, which I'll get into later. Let me see. The Blanketing is a short film about a confrontation. It's actually really close. It sounds really close to the Chilcotin War that I just pointed out. It's a confrontation between these road builders and some Chilcotin people, but it's not about the Chilcotin War. And it takes place in the 1800s, but it's not about the Chilcotin War, and it's got all these other kind of things connected to it, and all these other kind of allusions and all that stuff. So if there's any way possible that we could show the video of the short little 2-minute, we're gonna show like a 2-minute behind the scenes video of my short film, The Blanketing, of me making it. And okay, and so I'll talk about it a little more after this video. It was I shot it over the summer. 2012? Yeah, I shot it in August, and here it is. Okay, it's gonna be 1 second.
We try and start them at the same time, so they end at the same time.
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, it should be coming up there. It's coming. It's coming.
Making break.
Sort of takes it free. Present company accepting presently. We all expect the worst. Works just like a knee. Present company excluded in the night. Present company included in the fight.
Red Bull Crash Dice 2012.
Okay, everybody's caught up. Technology. Isn't it great?
Okay, yeah, that was some behind the scenes of my short film, The Blanketing, and that in itself is such a big story, because when I was in film school, everybody's mindsets were like, oh, I wish I could make a short film with one of those really expensive cameras. Oh, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do this. And my mindset was like, why can't we do that? Why can't we do that in the summer? Like, why not do it in the summer? Why would you want to wish it when you could just do it? And that's what I ended up doing. I ended up started my own Kickstarter page, which I don't know if you guys have heard of Kickstarter, but it's this website where you're pretty much asking the internet for money. You make this video, and then you say, hey, I'm making this really cool video. If you guys want to donate, then you could do all this stuff. And I ended up making one of those, and I was able to get some funding, and I ended up going around BC and Vancouver, writing letters to all these companies and asking for funding for this video. And I did my own planning, my own writing it. I had to cast all my members by myself. I had to do everything by myself, and it was a huge learning experience, because I decided, well, I still have my family. My family was a huge help, but at the same time, you realize that you pretty much, if you want to get something done, you have to get it done yourself. And if you really want it done, then if you put your work into it, it'll be done. You'll get it done. And I ended up, I asked this one person from my community to make the outfits by hand, and she ended up making it by hand, but there was a lack of communication, and she didn't tell me that she finished them, and I wanted feedback and everything, but she ended up giving me the outfits 2 days before we were shooting, and they were not the outfits I wanted at all, and I couldn't use them. So 2 days before we started shooting, I had to design the outfits all by myself and get all the outfits and do everything by myself, and that was that was a learning experience. And actually, we shot, I don't know if you guys noticed like the beautiful landscapes and mountains, but we shot that in the Chilco Lake area of the Chilcotin, which is where the traditional land of my people are, Chilco Lake, Chilcotin. So that, and we had another huge thing we didn't realize we had to deal with were res dogs. We had to deal with all these res dogs on the shoot. All these dogs started like running around our horses, and we had to like tie up all these dogs so they wouldn't get into the shot. And that was something you can't really plan for, but we dealt with it somehow. And and another huge obstacle on shooting The Blanketing was we had no cell phone service out there, so we had to use these walkie-talkies. And we had 2 trucks, and we had 15 crew members with these walkie-talkies, and we'd get in such bad communication situations where a truck would just keep on driving for 45 minutes, and then we couldn't talk to them, and we had to wait 45 minutes and for them to come back, and and it was the whole thing was a huge learning experience, and that's what it's all about. You could wish to do things, you could hope to do things, and then if you want to do things, you could do it, and you could create something amazing, and plus have this huge learning experience that I had, because now I know to watch out for res dogs on my next short film. I know to make it in a place that has cell phone service. You can't experience that without going out there in the field and trying it yourself and starting it yourself, and and really really initiating things. And that's what The Blanketing was all about. And I'm actually still in the post-production, and it's coming out. I'm going to try to screen it in March. So yeah, that's yeah, that was the big thing with the blanketing. And now oh, was there a question? I think we had a question from, oh yeah, right there.
Ask the question.
Huh?
Ask the question.
Oh. I forgot. Sorry.
You forgot.
You forgot? Okay, no problem. No problem. Oh, you got it again?
Go for it.
Where are you guys at right now?
We are in downtown Vancouver right now. Yeah, we're in this room in Vancouver. So, yeah, that was the big thing. That's my big short film, my big kind of debut, I guess, into the whole film business. And now I have to plan for like film festivals, and I have to plan for a screening and make, you know, a big event. And oh, excuse me. The reason why I wanted to make the blanketing though was because it goes to the story I told about the Chilcotin War, where you know, we have to, you know, as First Nations people, we should really be proud of who we are, and we should really, you know, really try to take back, you know, like who we were as a people and be proud, and that's what I wanted to make in this video. You know, that's the message I wanted to give. And you know, if you're proud of who you are, and if you want to do things in life, you know, it'll make things so much easier when you know who you are as a person, and you know, you're really getting back to your culture. And that's one of the biggest things I wanted to you know, showcase in the video. And if I can like change, you know, 2 people, and if they, you know, and they start, you know, looking back about their history, and you know, then, you know, my job is done. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life. So yeah. And now I have another thing I like to do is extreme sports, and I like to skydive, and I like to, you know, jump out of planes, and I like to bungee jump, and I like to participate in this little event called Red Bull Crashed Ice. And I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's the Red Bull Crashed Ice World Championships, and that occurs every March. And actually this year it occurred a couple weeks ago, where I just came back from. And before getting into it, I'll just we'll show the video of what the sport is, and yeah, and then I'll start explaining.
What number are you?
Explaining that. And actually, I'm actually not in the video, unfortunately, because they didn't, you know, they can only show so much in the video. But this is just an overview of what this awesome sport is.
That's right. Okay, stand by, because we're going to video.
A season that set new standards.
We saw this year that the sport improved, and the quality of the riders, the athletes as well, improved a lot.
4 races across the globe, more than 200,000 spectators. It all began in St. Paul in the USA. 80,000 fans, a hell of an ice cross downhill track, and some serious action on the ice made it a superb kickoff into the season. In the first final, it all came down to 2 Finns. Woo! versus 2 Canadians.
Another great start from Scott Cruxall. Artu Pilainen takes the early lead, though. Artu makes the small mistake. And both of them go down. Kyle Cruxall gets back up. He's faster back on his feet.
All I want to do is get out as fast as I could, and it worked out well.
For the second stop, the elite of ice cross downhill travelled to Valkenburg in the Netherlands. The battle for the World Championship continued on the longest and fastest track of the season.
On the course again, it's Scotty Cruxall in first place. Fabian Mels squeaks past though, and he moves into first place. Could this be the huge upset of this event with Fabian Mels out in front? Kyle Cruxall in second. Mels goes down. Kyle Cruxall still out in front. Fabian Mels. Wow! It's going to be Kyle Cruxall, Fabian Mels on the podium, and once again, Paavo Klintrup.
I don't know, I guess I just want it more. I mean, there's lots of good riders out here. Everyone's improving, which is getting really difficult, so I just want it, and I've been training all year for it.
In 2012, ice cross downhill returned to its roots. 11 years after the first ever race in Stockholm, the small town of Åre in Sweden hosted the third competition of the year.
Good start for R2 as usual. Gets out in front. Scotty Cruxall right there with him. Oh, and R2 toe picks and goes down. And here comes Adam Horst.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's something I've hoped for over the last few years, but it's weird that it's here.
The big final of the 2012 World Championship was held in Quebec in Canada. More than 100,000 fans gathered around the track to witness the last battle of the season.
5 seconds warning. Here we go. Kyle Cruxall is dead last at the moment, like you said. Scott Cruxall in second place right now. Kyle Cruxall is way back there. Scotty Cruxall in second. Scotty's going to try and catch up to Artu Pilainen. It's not going to happen by the looks of it. Scotty goes down. Kyle is the champion. Artu Pilainen wins the race here, but Kyle Cruxall comes across the finish line in second place to win the World Championship title that he's sought for 3 years.
I'm amazed. I mean, I finished off the year with 2 wins and a second place in a fall in Sweden, but equaled out to a win overall. So I'm as pumped as can be after the 2 last year's second place in a row both times. So this is amazing.
They'll just give a few minutes for the computer, the Adobe Connects, to catch up to us. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Oh, look at a little character. Look at the character dancing in front of the screen. Way to go. Well, we see strange things when we're on this end.
Yeah.
Everybody else can't see. There we go.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was that's Red Bull Crashed Ice, and that's what I've been competing in for the last 2 years. in Niagara Falls, which was amazing. I just came back 2 weeks ago from skating there, and it looks a lot harder it is a lot harder than it looks. When I first watched it on TV, I was like, oh, I'm a good skater. I can just skate down the track. I can, like a couple of jumps. And when you go there, you pretty much, on every single training run, there are about 6 people who leave in the ambulance and go to the hospital because it is so unbelievably hard. And a lot of people don't realize that. I got injured quite a few times, and even in Niagara Falls, I almost got a concussion, and I got like a huge, massive bruise on my hip, and it was just, it's a lot harder. But to start all the way from the beginning to how I got involved with this awesome sport was, I saw it on TV, and I guess I was always like a fast skater in hockey, but I was really, really bad at like scoring, like terrible at scoring. I would always get breakaways, and either like miss the net or hit the goalie, or the rare chance I would score, but I would always get breakaways every single game. And my hockey team, we watched this on TV once, and they said like, oh, you should join that, Trevor. And I was like, oh yeah, I wish I could. And then right when I got of age, which is 18 years old, which is the youngest age you can try out for it, I entered the lottery, which you enter online, and they randomly pick you across Canada, and it just so happens that I was randomly picked. And this is when I was living in Williams Lake, still just finishing high school. And I drove all the way from Williams Lake to Vancouver, and hoping that I could, it was a huge long shot of me getting in. I just wanted to race and be a part of the qualifiers. So, the moment I get in there are like 500 people lining up for the tryouts and everything. And I was so nervous because I'm this 18-year-old kid, and you have like these huge men athletes like lining up, and it's so intimidating. And even in the dressing room, like these guys had these like Red Bull socks, and they were like huge athletes. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, okay, well maybe next year. And the first year when I did my course, you do it's on flat ice, and you do an obstacle course. You do you jump, you fall down, you do a 360. And I did that. You do 2 runs, and I did my 2 runs, and I thought I did really, really bad. And I ended up like sitting in the dressing room afterwards, like, oh, I did so bad, and I took me an hour to get undressed, and then I ended up coming out and seeing like the scoreboard, and I was in 7th place out of around 300 skaters. And I couldn't believe it, and I ended up becoming 7th place. Yeah, thanks. Which qualified me for Quebec City, top 10 get to go. And I was only 18, and I went to Quebec City, which was amazing because they get to Red Bull pays for everything. They pay for your flight, they pay for your meals, and you get to stay in this big castle. And the Chateau Frontenac, and the track is right there, and you get bussed everywhere, and people. I even signed autographs when I was walking around. I've never signed an autograph before in my life. I just kind of wrote my name in like letters and kind of put my number or something, and that was the first year, and I didn't place very well in the actual event. I came 76th. Out of 300 skaters in Quebec in the World Championships, and I thought I could do better. And I came back and I started training even more. And I kind of combined the dedication of my training to crash ice and my dedication to film. I kind of go, I go through them. They go with each other. So that's kind of cool that I have kind of like a balancing thing. And then the second year, actually, at the qualifiers, I almost didn't make it because I forgot the sticker on my helmet. You have to put a number on your helmet in the qualifiers in Vancouver. and I'm actually really bad at losing things, like really bad. And I ended up not having the sticker on my helmet when I was on the ice for the qualifiers, and somebody pointed it out to me, and then I was freaking out on the ice, and I was about to skate and do my qualifying run, and I had to get my best friend to like run all the way to the car and grab the sticker and run all the way back, and then I got it, I placed it on my helmet, and in just due time I did my qualifying runs, and that year I came second out of second place in BC. Second place, which was a big improvement from seventh, and I was so happy because everything kind of paid off. And I went to Quebec City again in 2011 after qualifying in second place, and actually I ended up placing worse. I came 96th out of 300 or so skaters, which was because I fell and I got really injured. So that sucked, but at the same time, it's still, the whole atmosphere of being around 100,000 people is still really awesome. And oh, and I actually forgot to mention, my first year at Crashed Ice, I was able to hold the Canadian flag, and usually, because I didn't qualify for like the bigger races on TV, I was able to hold the Canadian flag and race it down the track, and I was able to race down the track by myself holding the Canadian flag in front of 120,000 people, and they're all, you can't even hear yourself think, it's so loud, and it's like the most surreal moment, and it's definitely, I think, one of like the greatest moments of my life. Like
Understandably.
Yeah, it was that cool. And those are my first 2 years of Crashed Ice, and then my third was in Niagara Falls, and I was actually, for the qualifiers, I had a lot of like pressure on me because I came second the year before in the qualifiers, so I was really nervous coming into it. And then at the qualifiers, I ended up coming first in BC, which was really awesome, going from seventh to second to first. You know, like the first fastest skater in BC. I still don't really believe it. I still, like, you know, they probably had like the clocks probably messed up or something, but and then that was able to qualify me for Niagara Falls, which was a couple of weeks ago, and I actually came 76th place in Niagara Falls, the exact same place as I did in my first year, and that was really cool because we got to race right beside the falls. Like, you would be going down the track and you could see like the Niagara Falls right in the background, and it was really cool, and I was actually able to qualify myself in Niagara Falls for an uphill race, and that was out of everything I've done in my life, that was the most physically enduring thing I've ever done in my life. Out of, you know, like working out, like, oh, this is hard. That was the most physically enduring thing. Racing up the track, and you know, it's on ice and you have skates and you have to climb up ice walls, and then you slide down, and then you have to climb up again, and you're racing in front of 60,000 people, and then so I came 6th place out of 8 people in that race, and that was able to qualify me again for the World Championships in Quebec City in March. So right now, that's what I'm kind of training for right now, is the March World Championships, and to see if I can do better than 76th place this time.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your training regimen for this?
Okay, so there's a question about my training for the Crashed Ice, because a lot of people ask me about that, because you can't really train, you know, for the track. You know, a lot of people say, like, oh, you know, in the wintertime you can just like ice down a hill and skate down the hill or something. But you're gonna die if you do that. It's pretty much, I have this really big hill by my house, and I run up and down the hill as much as I can until I puke, pretty much, you know, until I can't feel my legs, until I literally can barely walk home after that workout. So that, and you know, eating healthy. Eating healthy is, a lot of people get mixed up when they think like working out is all about weights, when it's really about the most important things are, sleeping and eating healthy. Your muscles can't develop if you get 5 hours of sleep and you're eating, Pizza Hut every day. So, weightlifting is kind of just on the side. But yeah, that's all that stuff. Yeah. So that's the Crashed Ice stories and what I do every year and what I'm kind of, what I really like to do.
We do have an older question from about the video footage. It says, Heinrich asks, what do you use to edit footage?
Oh, okay. So the equipment I use to edit, I've actually been using for the past 8 years. When I was in high school, I would, I'd just be by myself on the computer and play video games, and I would teach myself how to use these editing programs. And if there are any guys out there who are into editing or any of that, you might know the programs called Adobe After Effects, Adobe Premiere Pro, Sony Vegas. And those are the programs that I taught myself how to use. And I've got around 8 years experience in them, and that's what I use to edit. But what I'm particularly editing the blanketing on Adobe Premiere Pro because I used I don't know if there are any like video geeks out there, but I used the camera called the Red Scarlet, which is this big camera that is used on a lot of movies, and its older brother, the Red Epic, is used on Pirates of the Caribbean and all those big movies. Because I wanted to use like the big camera. Everybody in my school, they were like, oh, I wish I could use those cameras. Like, how cool it would be to use those cameras. Like, oh, one day. But I just thought to myself, I said, well, why not use it? Why not work an extra job or something to get the money to use it? So that's what I ended up doing. I was able to rent this big, huge red camera, and I used it, and it was like, oh, it was the greatest thing because I'm such a camera nerd, and it was like, oh, it just looks so good, and it felt so good in my shoulders. So yeah, that question, that's I use Sony Vegas, Adobe Premiere Pro, and After Effects.
So we do have some more questions. Heinrich again asks, isn't preparing for the jump similar to downhill skiing?
Oh yeah. So it's Red Bull Crashed Ice is a lot like downhill skiing, and that's what it's compared to. It's said to be a combination of downhill skiing and hockey, and it's really similar. Yeah, except you have with skates you have such a little amount of surface contacting the ice, so when you land, you can easily like break your ankle and everything. And I guess skiing is similar to that, but it's got bigger skis. But yeah, that's for training, that's what I'm going to be doing over the winter break, is go skiing and snowboarding and doing all that stuff.
3 more questions.
Okay, yeah, bring on the questions.
So Jacob McCrae, Benjamin Williams, and Taylor Alex. So I'll kind of just combine them. It said, how did you get into Capilano? What is the dorms like at Capilano, or rent, or however much you pay to live in Vancouver? And how is filming?
Okay, so my first year at Capilano, actually, if you don't know, Capilano, they don't have dorms. Actually, they don't have dorms, so you have to live on your own. Renting a place. So my first year, I rented a place in North Vancouver, and it was really, really expensive. It was $1,400 a month for a basement suite with 2 rooms. So it was really, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into when I wasn't really experienced with like rent and like how much work it actually is. You have to, you have rent, you have groceries, and you have everything. And I wasn't, and it slapped me right in the face how much, we take it for granted. I'll tell you guys, all you kids right now, we take our mom and dad's food and housing for granted. You guys are gonna realize it's pretty it's still fun. You're on your own, and you're showing yourself that you can work hard, and you feel independent, and you feel like an adult, and you feel good paying the bills. But yeah, my first year I was living in North Van, and then in my second year I'm living in Burnaby right now actually, and it's a little bit more of a commute, but yeah, Burnaby, Capitol Hill. I'm living in I'm living in Capitol Hill right now, and it's a little more commute, but it's cheaper, and I've got a really cool place. So what was I think there was a little more to that question.
Yeah, there was some different ones. How is filming?
Okay, filming is for the blanketing. We had 3 days worth of shooting, and I had to wake up, as everybody, the rest of the crew, we had to wake up at 4 in the morning every single morning. We had 16-hour work days for shooting, and it's a huge amount of work, especially because I was the director, I was the cameraman, and I was, a lot of other things, which I also learned I should probably get, an assistant director on my next one to help me out with everything. But filming is a lot of work, and you have to dedicate everything, because you have to know every single shot that you have to get before you start, before you even turn the camera on. And because if you're sitting there, because in film time is literally money, and because I had to, I rented equipment that had to be brought back in 4 days, and if you're just standing there doing nothing, you're wasting hundreds and thousands of dollars. So you have to be, there's no time for, well, maybe, like, you have to, it's pretty much almost the ultimate, event planning. You have to, everything has to be so seamless, and you have to have everything planned out, and filming, but I loved it. I loved waking up at 4 in the morning, and I loved waking up the crew members and saying, hey, it's like we're making this awesome film, we're making art. It's so, in the end, if you enjoy what you're doing, it's a lot of work, but if you enjoy it, then do it for the rest of your life. I can see myself doing this for the rest of my life, waking up at 4 in the morning for 4 weeks on end.
You're awesome. Which is, Benjamin asked the question, how did you get into Capilano? And I think expanding on that, to make the decision to move to the city from Williams Lake, I think we touched on that just a little bit when we were discussing.
Okay. So what the program I got into for Capilano is the Motion Picture Arts program, which is a really, really competitive program. And I was able to they interviewed me, and I was able to write a letter and everything I've done, and show them the pictures I've taken, the small videos I've done, and then they got me into an interview, and they got me into an interview, and then I did the interview, and I told them that I was paid to go to Dallas and all these other places to video these other people and everything. So out of 400 people who applied, only 120 were accepted, and so I was one of the 120. And then the second year it goes, it gets more competitive, and they cut down to 75, and then they cut down to 45, and then the fourth year I think they only have 20 people. So 120 in the first year, and then 20-ish in the fourth year. And moving from a small town like Williams Lake to Vancouver, it was, I guess it wasn't really that hard for me, but because I used to come down to Vancouver a lot because of my family. My aunts and uncles used to, or they still live here. And actually 4 months before I started school, I moved to Vancouver to work at a construction job, to make some money, and I worked around 3 to 4 months in Langley before I moved to North Vancouver. So I was kind of slowly getting implemented into the big city life. Yeah.
So we do have a question from Sheldon. How was the making of Halo? And Leanne Roger asks, there's a student, Kennedy, is wondering how old you were when you started making movies.
Okay, so the first question, making the Halo movies, I guess, is what it goes to. That takes an immense amount of time of sitting in front of the computer, and sometimes it took me 2 weeks to edit around a second of video because there was so many explosions, transitions, and flames, and clips going in and out that I would have to sit in front of the computer and look at this little piece of screen for 4 hours and move my mouse in tiny increments, and that takes you have to have a lot of patience and dedication to just you get all that work done, and then because it's going to pay off in the end. Sometimes I would actually edit something for 10 hours, and then I would look back and I would watch it, and it looked terrible. So I would just scrap it. I would delete it after 10 hours of working in front of it. So it's a lot of work synchronizing audio and video together with music and video game clips. So that's that was really, and I got used to it after because I did it for 5 years, and I would get better and better, and I would get more artistic in what I would do. Instead of it just being a Halo video, I wanted it to be an artistic expression of what I can do with the Halo videos. So yeah. And the second question was, how old was I when I?
Yes, when you started making movies.
Okay. Well, in making movies and Halo videos, I was 15 when I started making Halo videos, and that slowly transitioned into me making little PSAs and short films, and I think I was just at the tip of high school. I don't know what you guys are. I think you guys are 18, 17, or going into grade 12. I think I was 18 when I started moving into real life videos. Yeah.
Tracy just would like to make a comment. She said, "Thank you for being such a great role model for our First Nations youth. Looking forward to more of your movie talent. Please keep us up to date here in the Caribou."
No problem.
And there is another question. Are there any other sports that you're interested in?
Oh, sports. I grew up on sports. Sports are I love soccer, I love volleyball, I love lacrosse. Let's see, I love, badminton, anything. Sports are really a good thing to get into because they teach you discipline, and, you're with a team. So, you're, you get to, your team is your family, and you get to become, really close to your teammates. And because if you do something wrong, you're going to bring your whole team down, and everybody's going to be mad at you. So you have to think about the team first, and that's a really good quality to have, is getting into sports.
Let's see if there's any questions.
So yeah.
Is there any questions from the video conference? We can see you, but just wondering if any of you. Oh, I see somebody waving who has a hat on, and I think it's a green shirt. You can just turn your speaker on. They're from where? Burnaby, if you want to turn your speaker on. The young man in the back. You were waving your hand. You had a question with the glasses. Yes, now you're hiding. It's okay.
Okay, you're on.
I have nothing to say.
Say something.
Good job.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to turn you back off.
It'd be better.
So are those
PIB, I don't know if there's any question. I didn't see any question. Okay, Geraldine Alex says, "Hi Trevor, how old are you? And are you currently working on any videos in Vancouver?"
Well, I am 20 years old right now, and wait, what? What was the?
Are you currently working on any videos?
Am I currently working on any? Actually, yeah, I'm working with this video in collaboration with TRU up in Kamloops, and to make an information video about dementia and elders, and reeling that back to the youth, and yeah, so that's gonna be finished in March as well. I've got so much to do coming in March. I've got to finish the blanketing by March. I've got to finish that video by March, and I have the Quebec crashed ice in March. So March is gonna be an interesting month.
Not only that, university.
Yeah. Oh,
Your
don't even remind
classes,
me.
You're amazing.
Don't
Do you
e-
sleep?
Yeah, I barely sleep. Well, especially like finals coming up is gonna be terrible.
There was some other questions that asked about. I missed a question about asking which Halo movies you were working on or clips.
Oh, I guess the question was specifically what videos I've worked on. My alias, my like gamer tag is TM22, and that's what I still use that. What I've been using for the past 6 years. So if you YouTube TM22, and I've got videos like they're called Shocktology, Calamity, let's see, Orima. Like I like to combine words and make it really, cool sounding. So yeah, you can, if you just YouTube, Shocktology, and you'll see, you can see all of my old, really old video game videos.
We got lots of questions here. I'm trying to keep up. What kinds of cameras did you work with? And I think I answered that one. Are you doing any websites? Oh, Barbara Mack asked, are you doing any websites?
Well, the cameras I've worked with, I had when I was younger. I bought a Canon 60D, which I then sold, and then I bought a Canon 5D Mark II, which is like this really big DSLR camera, and now I'm working with that. And then if I want to do my next big production, which I'm starting to write the script on, I'll be renting, a big red Scarlett camera again. So yeah, I guess the one I have now is for like little stuff, and then when I want to get into big productions for my next film, I'll be renting the big ones, the big cameras.
Are you working on any current websites? Oh, we have a question. The girl in the red.
Oh, we have a video question.
We have a video conference question. Go ahead, go for it.
My friend wants to know if you have Facebook.
What's that?
Ask again.
They want to know if you have Facebook.
Yeah, I have Facebook. Wait, what is Facebook? Is it? It must be like a high school thing or something. No, I have Facebook and Twitter and all those kind of.
Do you have Instagram?
All those kind of stuff.
Do you have Instagram?
What's that?
Do you have Instagram?
Oh my god.
No, I don't have Instagram. I don't. I guess I should get into that. Everybody's getting an Instagram, but I don't. I don't have it.
How many subscribers do you have on YouTube?
On YouTube, you mean?
Yeah.
Not very many actually. I only have, I don't know, a couple of thousand. Not very.
What's your YouTube name? What's your YouTube name?
I have 2 YouTube channels you can catch me at, and one is TM22 is viral, and that's more of my my video game stuff, and then I actually make really funny real life videos, and you can watch those if you search TM22, but it's spelled out like TEEMTW, 22. So I've got some pretty funny videos that you guys can check out.
Any more questions? Oh, I seen a half hand go up there.
Thank you.
No?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank
no
you.
problem.
You're cool.
Okay, Taylor, Alex, was it super high-tech equipment you were using to edit your films? Oh, no, I lost that question. Sorry. Like 100 times better than Photoshop or something?
Actually, I've been using Photoshop for like 8 years, and I still love it. I just used it this morning actually, and Photoshop is awesome, but they're not super high tech. They're really expensive, but I just still use what almost everybody else uses, except I worked hard and got this like really big computer. My computer is about, I don't know how my hand is. The computer I have, you know how you have like a tower? My tower is about like this big, and it's like this. The tower is that big, and it's got like, it's almost like an air conditioner. There's so many fans and everything, so that's my big powerhouse of a computer I use. Yeah.
Okay, just to answer the next question, it says, what are you taking at UBC? Here at the UBC Youth Circle, what we try and do is open the doors across all universities, colleges, school districts, and bring speakers to the youth across the province. So Trevor's currently at Capilano University. So tying into the question right after that is, what year are you currently taking at Capilano University?
I'm in my second year right now, and I'm going for my fourth year to get my bachelor's degree at Capilano University. And then after that, I plan on just, working and making my own short films and feature films. Yeah.
Just one more comment. It looks like Taylor Alex, I don't know what school you're from, but it's the comment from that student is, my school's drama class just got a new program to edit our films. It would be cool if you could do like little tutorials on YouTube on how to edit the different aspects of films. And that's from Hazelton Secondary School.
Hazelton, wow, that's way up there. I would love to. I'd love to get back in it. I used to make, these tutorial videos, but I wouldn't mind getting back into that. But if it matters, what kind of program you have, because I only have certain kind of programs. A lot of people use Max and they use like Final Cut Pro, and I don't use that. But right now you can find a huge amount of like tutorials if you just go on YouTube and search little tutorial for this, and I'm sure there's like 1,000. I think mine would just get lost in the thousands, but I wouldn't mind starting doing those again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, somebody from Hazelton said they would love to be in your film. Maybe teach us your tricks.
No, actually, yeah. If I've got a couple of films coming up, and I'll be needing a lot of native kids. So just keep an eye out there. I'll have I'll probably be advertising some roles or
Start following Trevor. on Twitter
If you follow me on Twitter, you'll get I talk about a lot of stuff, and if you follow me on Twitter, which is just my Twitter handle is, if any of you guys have Twitter, is Trevor Mack 22. So just Trevor Mack 22 is my Twitter, yeah. And right now I'm posting a lot about Idle No More. And if you guys know about Idle No More, it's this huge, massive, huge combination of protests happening around Canada with our people, and it's really awesome to see, because it's all these young people standing up for what's been happening in the government, and Bill C-45 and like the termination of a lot of our rights, and it's really awesome. If you guys know about Idle No More, then you guys have got my cool points. And if you don't know about Idle No More, I suggest you Google it right now, and it's a huge, massive movement that you guys should get involved with, because it's awesome.
Good. So there's some great stuff that Trevor's been talking about today, and I guess what I would like to mention, and just say hello to your mom, Barbara Mack. So proud of you.
Hi, Mom.
That the support system and the decision to be down here, it's one thing to decide to be down here, but the types of support systems seems to have been a common thread with all of our speakers that we've brought to the UBC Youth Circle and the type of support systems that you looked for when you moved to this area, and I guess also focusing on what they offer at Capilano University, if you access their Aboriginal support team there at that university as well.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually really fortunate to have a really big family that, you know, really supports me, and I know not a lot of, you know, especially Native youth don't have that opportunity to have, this big family that supports you with almost everything you do. And well, actually, my family really hated me being like a geek and on the computer, and I was like, I swear, I'm gonna do something big with, staying, being like a loner and being on the computer. But, they ended up, learning and figuring out that this is what I want to do. But I know a lot of kids, they don't have this big family, and that's what I really want to try to get involved with. I want to try to get involved with, telling a lot of people that there are people out there wanting to help you, and that, if you just reach out, people will reach back at you and, help you out. And I think, I want to get involved with a lot of groups, and I want to help a lot of kids out. So because I know I was really fortunate to have, this, and I want to spread the love, if you will. That's what I want to do. And what was the second part of the question?
The support system.
Oh, okay.
Down there at Capilano as
Yeah,
well.
the support system at Capilano is pretty awesome. They have this spread the love. And I want to at Capilano, they've got a lot of Native students are at Capilano, and they have this huge the Native wow, I forgot what the building was called, but we've got this. They just renovated this new huge room. It's the Native Center there, and it's everybody knows each other. You can go there. You can just watch movies. You can sit on like a beanie bag. You can you've got you can have homework support. So I think Capilano's got a really good center and system for just being there for their Native students. Yeah.
That's great, because that seems to be, a lot of universities and colleges are developing and making space for Aboriginal and First Nation students to support them in their success and their decisions to go to post-secondary, in the hopes that, they're feeling supported and realizing First Nations and Aboriginals students come and, like you said, need that, they like that family feeling and the family support.
Yeah.
So, our young lady that spoke from SFU said, had a similar story to share for SFU, that it felt like home walking into their Aboriginal center.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's huge, because when I first, I'm from like Anaheim and Williams Lake, where Williams Lake is in between like 5 or 6 reserves. And, I was used to, being around Native people because, my family and and when I went to Vancouver, I was like, Langley, there are no like reserves in Langley or anything, and I was like, whoa, this feels kind of weird, because I'm coming from like a small town where I'm used to a lot of Native people, and then when you have those kind of environments in like universities or in your small towns or bigger towns, it feels good to be around your own people, and it makes you you have that kind of family that you wouldn't either else have in a bigger city. So yeah.
That's great. Do we have any more questions up there in the classrooms?
No.
Okay.
Guess not.
So Jacob McCrae asked, what was the first movie or short film you made?
The first I made, before I got into making the big ones, I made a lot of short YouTube ones, and if you go on my YouTube pages, you can see them, and they're actually really funny. Like one video I made was just me like dancing on my back in the middle of the street, like those kind of videos, and it's just like that's what it's all about. If you want to just like make a video or like make a film, all you need to do is just get a camera and go out and record your friends, or go out and just record you doing something dumb, but not too dumb, not like jumping off roofs or anything, but just like record, just do, just get out there and record stuff. And actually don't search my name too much because you'll see me doing a backflip off a roof. So that's the stuff. Actually, my mom doesn't even know about that. I shouldn't have said that.
Like your ears, Mom. So your message today is really loud and clear, and you said a couple of interesting points. If you really want something done, put the work into it, and you will succeed, and it will get done. And thank you for the Christmas tree up there.
Yeah, Christmas tree.
I'm going to actually ask a question, and we will allow a couple answers by show of hand there on the video screen, and by typing in the answer. I hope everybody's paying attention on the computer. Trevor, when he began his presentation, he talked about the Chilcotin War. What year was that? See who's paying attention. We have an answer up there in the white. And is anybody paying attention there? The first answer is coming through with Leon Rogers. Yes, we have a correct answer here. Let's get an answer up there. Who was paying attention when he began? And he was talking about his cultural background and tying into...
Go ahead.
1836.
Oh,
close.
30 years off.
You are 30 years
Almost.
off. We do have one correct answer, and we will make sure we get a gift card sent to Leon Roger with 1864.
Nice.
Yes. Like, we have somebody on the table right there. I'm not sure. What else would you like to share?
Well, I guess, I don't want to be, like that guy who, is like, because, like, I'm still 20, I'm still, like, young like you guys, I'm kind of, when people start pointing fingers at me, like, you got to do this, you got to do this, I'm not, I'm like, I'll just do things my way. But what I want, like, the message I want to give, like, all you youth out there, well, I guess, I'm still 20, but that's why I'm really honored to be here, is to just, if you want to do something, you need to quit wishing about doing it. You just need to just do it. Like, I was able to go from, living on, like, Anaheim Reserve, and then, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do this, so I got my surroundings, I got a job, I talked to the right people, and you need to, you just gotta, and then things will happen, things will fall into place, no matter what. If you're doing, like, if you're putting everything into it, there's no way that it won't happen. So that's what that's what I want to say, because things, it'll fall into place. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's take you back a little bit in time. Let's talk about a little bit about your high school and your high school choices and your classes and your messages.
Well, my high school, I was to put, like, my high school into one picture. My grade 8 high school picture was me with the huge, massive, like, mushroom cut. Like, my head literally looked like a mushroom, and I had, like, the biggest smile on my face. And I was, I had a couple of friends, but you kind of lose, friends going from elementary to high school. And I took Chilcotin instead of French for the whole year, and I was kind of, the main thing, I guess, I just really got addicted to video games, and I just kind of, I made myself, not a loner, but I just casted away myself. Like, girls would talk to me, and I would be like, oh, no. I was the shyest person, and it turned out in late grade 11, grade 11 is actually when, I don't really tell a lot of people this, grade 11 is when I first kissed a girl. Grade 11. So after I first kissed a girl in grade 11, that's when I was like, whoa. So, and then I ended up being, running for valedictorian, and I was the high school president, and, I was doing all this stuff because, I thought, like, what's the point of, kind of casting myself away when you could have fun, doing all these other things, getting out there. I won like the high school spirit award, and I don't know, it was just really fun after that, That's that was pretty much my high school.
So is there any questions? I can see there's some action going on there in the classroom. You guys have any questions? Looks like may have sparked some interest. Nope. In terms of employment, Taylor Alex asks, how reliable is the film industry?
Well, it matters what you want to do in the film industry. The film industry can be a very, very high-paying job even if you're just like a cameraman or you're doing lighting and everything. But it's like a lot of the people that I know that work heavily in the film industry, they're like they're single and they've got so much stress on them because you're working 5 weeks straight, 16-hour days in like in Vancouver Island, and then the next thing you know, you're in Whistler, and then the next thing you know, so it's really stressful. But it matters what kind of filmmaker you want to be. For me, myself, I want to be a filmmaker that I want to express my own views and write and direct my own stuff. So that means I'm pretty much gonna have to work full time for a year or so, and then start to get funding, and then do my own stuff, and then do everything on my own. And I don't want to be a person who relies it as their job, like we got to go to work today, Bob. That's kind of I want to make something worthwhile out of my stuff, and I want to so it matters if you want to be an auteur is what they're called, like the master filmmakers, where they write and direct their own stuff, and it's not for public consumption. It's about like intellectual thinking and trying to get a message out there. That's what I kind of want to do, and like help my own people. And so I would I don't know. It's a big thing to get into filmmaking because it's yeah.
We have a question.
Okay.
Can
young
you
lady
say
in the
something
white.
in your language?
What's that?
Can you say something in your language?
Yeah. Let's see. Hunilta, Sanasta, Trevor Mack, Slaifkotin, Neef, Tarinko. And I said, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. My name is Trevor Mack. I'm a Chilcotin from Anaheim Reserve. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. I'm actually really trying to I took Chilcotin for 4 years in high school, and I totally regret not listening, because I figured out, I could be speaking my own language right now, but instead I didn't listen in class, and so I'm really trying to get back into it.
So pay attention in those language classes.
Yeah.
I do have another question, just out of curiosity, and who is, or whether fictitious or in real life, who has been or is your hero, heroine in your life, and understanding that it probably changes over time, or more people are added to your bank?
Well, the big heroes that I've never met before are Carl Sagan, which, if anybody knows who Carl Sagan is, you automatically get a digital high five by me. And Carl Sagan is this astrophysicist who is because I'm also really big into space and all that kind of stuff. And he's this guy who brought the knowledge of space and everything into the average home and everything. So Carl Sagan is a huge inspiration to me, and also my family and my mom are really huge, because my mom is like the hardest working person I've ever met, and she's I want to emulate that. And she had to worry about other family members, myself growing up, my etsu, which is my grandma, and so yeah, it's my mom, my family, Carl Sagan, and let's see. I think I have one more. I think I have one more hero. I can't think of one right now. Yeah, just mainly those three.
So do we have any more questions? In the back, I thought I saw some movement back there. I think I called.
Okay, go ahead.
When did you realize this is what you wanted to be doing, like making films and stuff?
Okay, so the question was, when did I realize what I wanted to do? And that's like, that's a problem, a lot of high school people have, like they're going like, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? You guys have so much pressure on, what you guys are going to do for the rest of your life, and when you're 18, 17 years old, and you don't even know what you're going to do next weekend or something. And I was really lucky to find out what I wanted to do at 16 or 17 years old. And I was able to just like stick right to it. I knew what I wanted to be, and at first it was like, oh, I want to be a cameraman like for the rest of my life, and it was like, oh, I want to be a photographer for the rest of my life. But it was all kind of in that kind of funnel of doing something with film or photography or something at 16 years old probably, and I just kind of I really found an interest in it. I just kept to it. So it's, you guys are going to find, not everybody obviously finds what they want to do at 16 years old or something. And, you guys are still young. You guys can, you guys are still going to discover, what you're going to do. What you want to do is more important, actually. What do you want to do for the rest of your life instead of, what do you have to do for the rest of your life?
I'm interested to know, and this came up in some of the other presentations, can you, it's twofold, walk us through a typical day for Trevor Mack, kind of when you wake up. In addition to that, walk us through a typical day of filming.
Okay.
Because that question was asked to William, and people were interested in William. William.
Yeah.
He's one of your friends. So
yeah.
He walked us through a typical day of William and a day of his life. But I think just the difference of how dedicated you are, and that people can see the dedication and hear the challenges you deal with on a day-to-day basis. I mean, even getting here today, right?
Yeah. Well, William Bellew is one of my actors from The Blanketing. He's a really awesome guy. And so a day in the life of Trevor Mack, I would say, is probably getting up on the wrong side of the bed and like checking my cell phone, waking up, going to school. And actually, I have a goal for myself every single day. Every single day, I try to make one new friend or try to make a person's day. So usually, sometimes, if I see, let's say, I'll try to do something funny to make people laugh. Sometimes, like, I'll just randomly fall down the stairs. And, if it makes people laugh, then, like, imagine, I just made their day. They're going to go home and tell their friends, like, hey, this funny guy just, like, fell down the stairs, and it was hilarious. And, they could have been having a terrible day, and I just made their day. Or sometimes I'll just go up to a girl, and I was like, hey, you look really pretty today. And, and they're like, oh, thanks, because, they could, the girls go like, oh, I'm trying to look good, and a guy comes up to them and compliments them, they might be having a bad day, and I just, I like to do that. And I go to class, do my work, but a lot of the time when I'm at class doing work, I'm writing down notes and ideas for my film. Like sometimes I could overhear a conversation or something, and I think that's like the greatest film idea ever. So I keep it in the back of my head. I put it in my phone. Like one of my aunts was telling me this story about my grandpa. He greyhound bussed a tree to my aunt from Williams Lake to Vancouver, and I really want to make like an urban, funny, native feature film. And I thought that's genius. Like he greyhound a tree to like I think that's awesome. So and then let's see, a day in the life. I try to eat as well as I can, and then go to the gym at the end of the day, and but everything every day in the back of my head is what I want to do with my life and what I want to do in the future. What do I want to accomplish? And I think that's the first step of like getting out there and doing what you want to do. Is no matter what, in the back of your head every single day should be what you want to do with the rest of your life, or what you want to do next week, what you want to do that that's not meaningful, but like what interests you, and what what you can do with that, with the rest of your life. So, and okay, so the next question was a day of filmmaking. Wow, so this was like a day. This is an average day for the blanketing. Wake up at 4 a.m. Put my clothes on, go to the campfire, start cooking breakfast with my uncles for 15 people, and go check if the cameras are all good. Check my shot list to see if everything is okay. I have to talk with my actors to see how they're feeling. Check the outfits to see if they're all right, and then it's probably about 6 a.m. I go to the filming location. I check to see if everything's all right, see if there's no like res dogs there or something. And then I wait for the actors to come. We shoot the scene, and we shoot it multiple times, and then we get a break. And then in the break, I'm still checking over the scenes if they're what I want, and checking everything. So no matter what, when everybody's even at lunch or breaks, everybody, they get to like, oh, I finally get to eat. But while that's happening, I'm planning for the next 5 hours. So then you're always planning and working, and and then as the day goes on, you're trying to get as many shots as you can into the day, and that's about it. It's pretty much it's hell, but it's fun, and I love it.
A couple of comments on here. What films can we expect to see released in the near future? And it looks like there's a student on here that just had to say you're cute.
Well, thank you, whoever said I was cute. I appreciate that. The first, I'm going to go traveling to Central Europe in the summer, is because that's what I want to do, and so I'm going to do it. I put my mind to it, so I'm raising money, and I'm going to go travel Europe. But after that, I'm planning on making another short film, which takes place in the 1960s and is about two brothers and their relationship while going to residential school. So that's going to be my short film, and my feature film is probably going to be a full-on feature film that takes place in the 60s or 70s at a residential school. So that's and then I want to get more urban after that, and I want to start making like urban films that are happening now in the city, with Native people, and how we have to deal with that, and I want to make comedies too at the same time. It's like I want to do so many things because I love comedy, and like comedy, like Native people love comedy, and I think you can do a lot with that. So I just have so many things planned, and I can't wait to start getting into it. Yeah.
Is there any more questions in the classroom? I see some of you are out of your seats. No? Any more questions online? Oh, we do have a question.
Oh.
What's your biggest
in the white
fear?
Sweater?
What's that?
What's your biggest fear?
Oh, my biggest fear. Wow. I don't really think about fears, actually. That's kind of a hard one. My biggest fear. That's a hard one. I'm really like an optimistic person. I really like to. My biggest fear.
We're talking to a skydiver and a bungee
jumper. I like to jump out of planes, and I want to jump off cliffs when I'm older and everything. My biggest fear.
You like doing that because you like the rush?
Yeah, I've got a really big, like, when I see people jumping off cliffs, I just get like, I get a rush, and I want to do it, but you have to have like 10 years of training. So, but my biggest fear, probably losing the support of my family. Probably, that's my biggest fear. because I'm so close to my family, and they've supported me through everything. So that's probably it. I can't really think of any other fears.
You had your hand up as well. Again, was there another question there that we may have missed? No? We always get that from the girls with our young male speakers. The movie Grave Encounters was filmed in Vancouver. Did you have anything to do with that movie?
Grave Encounters. I don't think I've heard of that one. Grave Encounters. Maybe that might have been a Crazy 8 film, maybe, that they're talking about.
I'm not sure, Taylor.
Yeah, I've never heard of Grave Encounters, sorry.
I guess Tracy Telford, she asked the question, is it a spiritual feeling? I guess that must be with your skydiving and bungee jumping.
Oh, well, I guess, just like spirituality in general. When I was making the blanketing, I got to learn who I was, and I got to discover, because I never really, I never did I never looked back on, who my people were, who I was, and that's what I really love, because through making all these films, I'm going to learn so much about who I am, who, First Nations people are in general, who other nations are, and it makes me feel so good. It makes me feel I'm discovering who I am, and I think that's really, really spiritual. And I guess, jumping out of planes and jumping off cliffs and everything, I think that's, you need some kind of, thing in the back of your head saying, this is right for you, when really, you're jumping out of a plane. Yeah, I don't know. It's I love it, and I couldn't not do it.
You brought up some probably, in an adult like myself, some really deep, heartfelt emotions, because the common thread, the speakers that have spoken previously here at the UBC Youth Circle since I've been here, are talking about finding themselves. We're in that generation of the youth are finding themselves and connecting themselves to the culture, to the history of what's happened. You're filming and talking about residential school, which, we know, with all the settlements that they've had in the recent years. And that's exactly what William said. That's exactly what Elisa said, because she was removed here into the Vancouver area at a very young age. Everybody's story is unique and different, but the common thread amongst them is that spirituality and connection to culture. And it's nice to know. And if there's any comments from any of the classrooms or any of the video conference connections about the spirituality and connecting, it is a powerful message.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's huge with Native, the Native culture, to know who you are, because, after everything that, that's been happening, especially with, urban Native youth and, who have been disconnected from, their family, their nation, and they're really lost because they don't know, who they are as a person and who they are, culturally. And I think, that's really important when you start to find yourself through that. And, I want to help, I definitely want to help people who, who need that, because it's really important.
Thank you for that. Did you ever try out for any of the parts on Twilight or any of their? No, because the majority of people don't even think I look Native. That's why they think I look Asian, and I get that a lot, that I look Asian, and they're like, I'm like, yeah, I'm actually, Chilcotin, a First Nation, and they're like, what? No, but no, I haven't actually, and I know a couple of people who auditioned for Twilight, but no, I didn't. No, I don't know. I'm not a really good actor. I like staying behind the camera, and yeah. So who is probably one of the most famous sports figure or actor that you've met, or maybe one of each if you've had the opportunity to meet?
I worked on a commercial actually, and I got to meet Trevor Linden, and there's this the Trevor Linden, he's so awesome. And actually, I told him the story about the blanketing and trying to make get people proud again of who they are. And he was really interested in everything. And at one point during the commercial, because it was like a 12-hour day, I was doing some paperwork, and then I hear this voice saying like, Trevor, Trevor. And then I look back, and it's Trevor Linden being like, hey, Trevor, come over here. And I was like, what? Me? And I was like looking, and I was like, Trevor Linden's calling my name. And so Trevor Linden was like, hey, come tell these guys your story. And then these guys were all like the directors and director photographies of this commercial I'm working on. This little like kid doing paperwork, and then like, you know, I'm telling like this big, you know, these directors of this big commercial, you know, like what I was doing and everything. And Trevor Linden was like, yeah, and he put his hand on my shoulder, and he was like, yeah, and I was like, oh, this is the greatest day of my life. It was Trevor Linden. I met Dion Phaneuf, the captain of Toronto Maple Leafs, like last week at Niagara Falls. Let's see, I met I don't know if anybody who are like Dan O'Toole. If anybody knows who Dan O'Toole is, Sports Center, like one of the short little anchor guy. Yeah, it's just I think those are the people.
Trevor Linden is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, he really supports, and we brought an Aboriginal group or First Nations group from my home community years ago. My daughter's 23, and she was little, and I was holding her up, and he actually worked his way through the crowd because he's seen me holding her, and it's a big group. And, you know, people were moving out of his way. And he actually came over, and I put her down. And he said, do you want a picture?
Really?
Yes, he did. And to this day, I still have that picture. And Trevor Linden, for those of you who don't know, he was the captain of the Vancouver Canucks for many years.
He's a really awesome guy.
He is.
He definitely is.
He's great.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess I've met Adam Beach at one of those at the Ryan McMahon's comedy. He's shorter than I expected, Adam Beach. He's I guess all actors are short, you know, like Tom Cruise and everybody. But yeah, he's a lot shorter than I thought he was.
And Dr. Evan Adams?
Oh yeah, Dr. Evan Adams. Yeah, he's
Thomas what was their stage names? Thomas and Victor?
Yeah, Thomas and Victor. Yeah.
That's amazing. You're gonna go far in your career. I just know it. You've come a long ways, and you have a ways to go, and you're going to meet, I'm sure, many, many stars, and you know, hopefully some of these students today, like you had said, you know, if you can get through to a couple of them, which I'm sure you have, in your way and sharing your story, that someday that they'll recognize you when they're attending University of Capilano or a similar university, and they pass you on the street here in Vancouver, that you know, they'll stop you and say hello. Is there any more questions before we do have one more comment. I asked your mom if there was any comments she would like to add, which I do know, you know, due to the UBC Learning Circle connection here, that there was comments that people are definitely proud of you, and she said to let you know everyone at home is proud of you. You know, sometimes we don't hear that. We hear our parents' support, but definitely when a community, and this is you know, the prime example of, you know, I heard it said so many times, it takes a community to raise a child, and it sounds like your community has been quite supportive of you and your family especially, and those strong family ties. Mm-hmm. So is there any other comments, concerns, questions, feedback for Trevor right now? This is getting to be your last opportunity to ask questions if you have them. Is there any in the classrooms? Any in the classrooms on?
Go ahead.
Do I walk?
Yep, you're right there. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you for this learning experience. And I'm Donovan from Alpha Secondary. I'm in grade 10 and my nation's carrier. And from all Alpha, we'd like to say thank you. Hi, Scott.
Yeah. Hey, no problem. No problem. Thanks, Donovan. If you know, I'm glad that you found this enjoyable and you were able to sit through it. Because I know when I was, you know, grade 10, you know, like, oh, we gotta sit through another thing. Oh, but you guys were awesome.
So we do have a couple comments here. Alpha Secondary on video conference says, thank you, Trevor. I don't know how to say that name, Scalot. How much longer do you think you will take your career in film industry? And then somebody else has said, Jenna says, have a good day.
How much longer? Well, I hope to do it for the rest of my life until I'm 80 years old to make films. But specifically in the film industry as like a union, I hope to do it, just, a couple, maybe 10 more years until I can get my own like foundation and grounding and start, really doing my own big stuff. So, I'll just be helping out in the film industry, being an assistant and everything until, I can really start planning on, making, the big things that I want to make, which I plan and hope to be doing, for the rest of my life.
Alrighty, we have one more comment coming, and while that's going on, that, just a summary and a recap of your major points. I mean, you've said a lot, you've shared a lot, and I thank you, because a lot of times when we do these UBC youth circles, we get right into your life, the challenges, your successes, your support, where you've been with the ice games. You've done a lot in your 20 years here, and you've been blessed with a really strong support system. I'm glad you followed your dreams, and your dreams led you here to Vancouver, and sharing for us a little bit about the Capilano University and your experiences there, and understanding that you're here with some family here, but pretty much you're doing it on your own. You're following your dream, and you've really done what you've spoken about. You really wanted something, and you put the work into it, and you're here living the dream. It's possible.
Yeah.
Have you ever worked with any other big-time actors like Liam Neeson or anyone else?
With other big-time actors, no, actually. Not any, like, really, really big ones, but I've worked with, William Bellew, who's been in Twilight, and Sean Wyma, who's, he's been in a lot of big TV shows, and I was working with a girl who you guys are probably going to start really to see is Devry Jacobs, Going to Her Day, Devry Jacobs. She was the lead girl in mine, and she just finished shooting a big feature film with Jeff Barnaby, and I plan on working with. I like you have the big stars, but I like taking like just kids who've never done anything before and just putting them on screen because they have so much to add to the experience. Like, I really like having ensemble casts, like just saying, hey, who wants to be in a movie? And, all these people are like, whoa, I've never done this before. Like, I want to do it. And it brings a community in and, all these people. So I like that. But, so I think my next big ones are going to have, people who you've really never seen before. And then you're going to be surprised at, what you see on screen.
And that's great. That's great because, there's so many common threads. Like, people ask you, when did you realize you wanted to be in the film industry? But you probably, as a little child growing up, probably had one of those little things, walking around taking little Fisher Price toys, right? They started displaying interest at a very young age. Somebody asked, Scalot asked, did you help out in the films that were filmed at Smithers, BC?
No, actually, those must have been, you're probably talking about, The Grey with Liam Neeson, like, filming out there. I plan on, getting in contact with people so I can work on these big films in BC, but I would have wanted to, like, those I really want to do, and I've got a lot of contacts at school that I can hopefully work with and, at least be, like, an assistant on one of these big films. So, I hope to in the future. Yeah.
You will go far. I know it. I just want to actually thank everybody as we draw to a close our UBC Learning Circle for today, December 12, 12, 12. Thanks for participating in today's circle. Thank you to the staff and volunteers for helping coordinate. They're giving you the heart. For helping coordinate today's session and participating, in addition to the ones who are on our Adobe Connects, in addition to the technicians at Health Canada, Stephen and Jennifer, and your friendly Adobe connector moderators, the speakers, especially Trevor Mack, my program assistant, Catherine Berry, who a lot of our system is reliant upon our Health Canada technicians, and our program assistant, Catherine Berry. I thank you very much. In addition to that, in closing, I want to make sure we talk about some of the upcoming youth learning circles that hopefully you'll be able to participate into the new year. This is our last session for 2012, and it happens to be on 12/12/12. And January 10th, from 1 to 3, we have an Aboriginal Play It Forward Sports Foundation, which is which stems from the We to Me. This organization was co-founded by Aboriginal students who have made it a mission to collect and donate sports equipment for school-aged children in other Aboriginal communities across Canada. Joining us will be 2 students from the Coquitlam School District, Morgan Anson and Bo Laszlo, along with their resource teacher for Aboriginal education, Rob Cowie. So do make sure you attend that one on January 10th to get some ideas and start generating your own school's Me to We. January 17th, we have role model Gino Ojic. Gino is a member of the Algonquin Nation in Maniwaki, Quebec. He resides here in Vancouver and has been using his celebrity status as a former NHL enforcer with the Vancouver Canucks to inspire Aboriginal youth to live a drug and alcohol freestyle life. Also, he'll talk about the bullying that happened to him, even though he was an enforcer on the ice, his challenges of moving to the city and how he survived here in the city of Vancouver. So in addition to that, we always welcome feedback and ideas. If you have any role models that you would like to see here at the Youth Circle, if you have an idea that's generating in your own high school that you would like highlighted and spotlighted here on the UBC Learning Circle, that is a part of our goal, is to spotlight that and bring attention to what's out there in the province of BC. So I really hope you've enjoyed today's session, and here is my contact information if you want to send me your ideas, any feedback, and also the program assistant, Catherine Berry. So if there's any further comments or questions, please send them to us via email. Again, thank you very much, and here from Musqueam Territory, the UBC Learning Circle, we say Haichka, and happy holidays, and we will see you in 2013. Bye.